Okay. So on today's, you probably will want one of our calculators because no decimals because we're doing fractions. So you might want to go ahead and grab um, a calculator for doing the fractions.
You want a desk for your calculator?
So the first thing that we want to do is label all of our letters here. Okay. And it tells us that each division is 1/8. So all of these little tick marks right here is 1/8, and then technically 2/8, which reduces to 1/4, right? Then 3/8, and then 4/8, which is 1/2, 5/8, 6/8, which is 3/4, 7/8, and then 1. So if you can see that, okay? So each one of those tick marks is an eighth. These are the simplified versions. Down here. And if I wanted to write all of this as fourths, then that one right there I would write as 2/4. Okay, so that's another way that you could write this one. It would be 2/4. So for some of these, you will need a common denominator. When you're using the calculator, then it'll automatically do that work for you. On the TSI test, if you're planning to do the TSI, the calculator that they allow you to use on the TSI test will not do fractions for you. So you'll need to know your fraction rules to pass the TSI test. Okay? So I suggest that you practice doing it and then maybe use the calculator to check your work, at least for a handful of them. Do a few here and there without having the calculator do all the work for you, and then um, check the work with the calculator. And I'm going to show you how to get the calculator to do a few things for you when we're dealing with fractions. So right here for A, what would we label A? What does A equal? 3/4. What does B equal? 1 3/8. Okay. So in the calculator, if I'm putting B in there, you need to put 1 plus 3/8. If you type it in as 1 3/8 like up there, the calculator will multiply. Okay. And if you don't want it to multiply, then be sure that you put the plus and put it all in parentheses together so that the calculator will know that is grouped together, it goes together. Okay, what's the measure for C?
2 3/8.
2 3/8. And D? 3 1/8. Okay. So you can see, since I already labeled these individual ones down here for you, you should be able to finish putting the correct measures above those so you know what you are looking at. So then down here, it's telling you that you're adding the measure of A, which is 3/4, to measure B, which is 1 3/8. So I know if I look up here, because I've already created my conversion chart here, I know that 3/4 is the same as 6/8 up here. So this is actually 6/8. Yeah, let me not right over that like that. So 3/4. If when I'm adding, I need common denominators, right? So it's actually 6/8 plus 1 and 3/8, which equals 1 and 6, 7, 8, 9/8. Is 9/8 the correct answer? Or is that most simplified? No. So what do I need to do? Because now I have more in the top than in the bottom. Well, I don't want to make it a mixed fraction because we're talking about measurements like inches and stuff. So it would be 2. Exactly. So I've got one too many here. So I can make a whole one, and then I still have one left over.
Whoa, that doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Bring down my
Brianna.
phone.
8 goes into 9 one time, right?
Right.
So you'll bring the extra 1 and add it to the 1 over there. Yeah, so the 9/8 equals 1/8.
So 9/8 actually equals 1 and an eighth. Okay, and I have to add it to this original 1, which, so it's 1 plus 1 and 1/8, which equals 2 and 1/8. Right?
That's the answer?
That's the answer. So the 2 and 1/8 is the answer. So one other one that we need to look at is one of the ones that need to borrow. So let's do D minus C. Okay. So what does my D equal to? Because I zoomed out so I can't see it anymore. What does D equal?
3 1/8.
Oops. Yep. 3 and 1/8 minus, what is C?
C is 2 and 3 8.
2 and 3/8. Right? I cannot take 3/8 away from 1/8. Okay, my whole numbers work, but my fraction doesn't, and I need to look at that first. So this is where what we just did in that first example is going to come into play for this. I need to borrow 8/8 from this one and add it here so I can rewrite this as 2 and 9/8 minus 2 and 3/8.
I don't understand that.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Because 1/8 minus 3/8 doesn't work. It leaves you a negative, right?
Well, I get that, but where does the 8/8 is the denominator?
So 8 is the denominator. So up here, if you look at a whole one, right, we've got 8. This is a whole 1 is 8/8.
Mhm.
So because a whole 1 is 8/8, I need to borrow 1 from this 3. I need to borrow it in sections of 8 so that I can take 3 of them.
But where does the 9/8 come from?
Okay, because 8/8 plus, oh, undo. I don't know what I did. Selected something. 8/8 plus the 1/8 that was already here equals the 9/8. So I borrowed one from the 3 to make it a 2, which is where this 8, 8 comes from. And I add it to the 1/8. So 8/8 plus 1/8 equals 9/8. So now that my fraction numerator is bigger than my denominator, I can do my subtraction. So 9 minus 3 is 6/8. My denominator stays the same. And then my whole numbers, 2 minus 2, cancel completely out. And 6/8 reduces to 3/4 as my final answer. And you may not have enough room on here to do your work. I've zoomed in, so it makes it easier for me to write on it, but you might want a separate sheet of paper to do your work. Okay. If you were doing this problem in the calculator, okay, you would do 3 plus 1/8 minus 2 plus 3/8. Okay, so it would have to look like this in the calculator. You have to group each of your fraction, your mixed number together with a plus sign between them. Does that make sense? Okay, so you can do the work with the calculator. You may want to still write it down how you put it in the calculator so that if you're using this for a test or a quiz or something, you remember how you're supposed to put it in the calculator and don't forget on test day, right? So then down here, okay, down here you start multiplying. This is multiplication. Okay, so 2 times C, okay, B times 2 times C, whatever. So you're getting into multiplication. So there is a back side to this. I believe that the front side is more tedious than the back side in some ways. The back side has more complicated problems on it, but it gives you what you're filling in. So you're looking for y, but it gives you z and it gives you x to substitute in. Okay. And then it is on Go Formative when that you get it done.